Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. In today's video, we're going to be going over my 2024 art goals for this year, and then also how to set your own art goals that are achievable and not so daunting and scary that you don't think you can do them. So let's just jump right into the video and let's start making some goals. Alright, starting off the video, you guys are going to be seeing me work on this illustration I made of a dragon, as it is the year of the dragon in the Chinese zodiac. I don't believe in zodiacs whatsoever, but I did think it would be fun to have this little illustration for 2024, and I thought it was appropriate to put in this kind of a video. So if you guys have any questions about the painting, let me know in the comments and I'd be glad to get back with you with an answer. And if you have any other questions about anything I talk about in this video, comment down below. But yeah, let's get right into the video and let's start making goals. So before we start making goals, I want to talk about why it's important to make goals. Making art goals will, one, help motivate you to actually make art. It is important to make goals because they help you see your progress throughout the year or even throughout time, whether you do yearly goals or monthly goals. So when you set goals for yourself, it gives you a reason to create. I think it's good to keep goals within a year. If you want to make monthly goals, that's fine. I usually make mine yearly, and then sometimes in the middle of the year, if I think of a new goal that I didn't really set at the beginning of the year, I'll just kind of add it to my list of goals that I already have. But I think it's important to kind of set a time limit of when you want these goals to be done, and that way you'll actually try them out and you'll get to them. Because if you never set an end date goal or anything, you have no motivation to get them done. As you guys do this more and more, you'll find your own kind of sweet spot of what works for you, because everything is going to work a little bit different for everybody. So these are just kind of guidelines, they're not rules. Use this video as guidelines for making your own art stipulations and rules for yourself. Now we know why and when to make art goals. Now what are the art goals and how should you go about making them? So there's a few things that you need to keep in mind when you make your art goals. When you're making goals, you need to make them within a budget, within means, things that you like, things you need to work on, and things that you have fun making. So for instance, one of my goals this year is to improve on my watercolor painting in both an illustrative style and a realistic style. One, it is within my budget because I already have watercolor, I already have paintbrushes, I have all the tools I need to be able to achieve that goal, so I don't even have to spend money for that one. Two, it is within means because, again, I already have all of the supplies and I have the know-how, as last year I spent a lot of time improving my watercolor painting and I learned a whole lot about watercolor. I want to keep that momentum going. Another thing on our list is it is something that I like. I love doing watercolors. I never get tired of them, or I haven't yet, and they're just something that I'm comfortable with and familiar with, and I want to get even more comfortable and even more familiar with. So it is something that I like and it's something that I enjoy. And then it is something that I have fun doing because it's just something that inspires me, and watercolor is one of my favorite mediums to use. So that's a great example of how you guys should go about making your art goals. Let's go over a few more of my art goals for this year. Another one I have is trying new color palettes. I love color. If you guys have been watching my channel for any time at all, you guys know that I love bright colors, I love fun colors, I love illustrative colors. I'm drawn to color. That is something that inspires me. It's something that gets me excited. So I want to try new palettes out. I'm actually starting off the year by doing that, as you can see in this video. I know I said I wasn't going to talk about this dragon very much, but I thought it was a great example. I don't usually use this kind of color palette. It's mostly secondary colors, and I actually mixed it using only primary colors. It was really fun to do because I was experimenting with a color palette. It was a little harder to paint because it wasn't my natural go-to, but I absolutely love the colors in this one. And I had so much fun exploring with the colors. I kind of just went with the flow of this one, so it was a really fun way to start off the year. So you could set yourself a similar goal of trying new color palettes, or maybe color scares you and you're not really confident on color theory. So maybe a goal for you that's not necessarily something that applies to making art, but maybe learning the principles of art could be color theory. Plenty of YouTube videos, there's plenty of materials online that you guys can look up to stretch your brain in a non-stressful way. Another art goal that I have this year is to do more landscape. So last year I had a goal of doing a lot more animal art, improving my realism, improving my illustration style, and I achieved that goal. But one thing I noticed, my backgrounds and my landscape are kind of lacking, and I didn't think that would matter as much, but the more I did it, the more I realized, oh, this kind of makes the rest of the painting fall flat. So that's me kind of observing a skill that I need to brush up on, or a skill that I need to learn, and apply it to this year's art goals. So last year's art goals helped me see this year's art goals. So that's another great example of why you should set art goals. They help you see where you need to improve. So the landscapes is something I really want to get better at. It doesn't have to be necessarily realistic, but just figuring out placement and the theory of how things should lay out, what kind of works when you have something in focus and you want something out of focus, just little things like that. And so that's something that I can do my own research on. I can experiment by doing sketchbook pages of landscapes. I plan on experimenting by just doing, and then experimenting looking around at my surroundings when I'm outside or when I'm inside, and then also doing some of my own research, watching some other artists who already are landscape artists and know what they're talking about. And that way I can learn from them. Let those people inspire you and teach you things that you want to learn. And then another goal of mine is to do more sketchbook pages that are casual. I have a lot of, I guess you would call it, sketchbook anxiety. A lot less than I used to, but I'm a little bit of a perfectionist, and so I have a hard time doing sketchbook pages that look messy and incomplete and aren't full. And I think that's a very real thing for a lot of people. There's tons of great YouTubers out there who talk about how they do their sketchbooks. I've watched a lot of those videos and they've helped me become a little more casual in my sketchbook, but it's a goal that I actually want to set for myself this year so I can actually focus on improving that. Sketchbooks are a place to experiment, and although I've done a lot of that, I have a hard time experimenting in a messy way. So I want to improve on using a sketchbook the way it's meant to be used, as a practice place. Along with that goal, I have a goal connected to that, and that goal is making more art outside of my sketchbook. So I used to only make art outside of my sketchbook, and I never had sketchbooks. Well, now I have the opposite problem. I only make art in my sketchbooks and the occasional piece outside of my sketchbook. So that's another goal of mine. If you guys have a problem with, let's say, you have a hard time being in a sketchbook, a goal that you could set for yourself would be using a sketchbook more often. Bring it around with you, and that way when you're bored, you can just draw instead of sit on your phone doing something that might waste time. That is definitely a goal that I need to get better at. One of my last goals for this year, I've always wanted to have my own art style, and I focused on it so much that it stressed me out. And then last year I was like, you know what? I'm not going to worry about it. I'm just going to try to improve on art. And I did. And then during Inktober, I don't know where it came from or how it happened, but I just kind of started playing around with illustration style instead of realism. And I don't know if animal anatomy that I had practiced kind of came through and it made it easier. But all of a sudden, I kind of figured out an illustration style that I liked. And I want to play around with that because it's really fun and it's cute and I really enjoyed it. So I want to try that. So set goals that you are interested in, set goals that are within your budget, and set goals that get you excited and make you want to make art. That is a really important part about making art goals. If I haven't stressed that enough, if you learn nothing from this video other than make art goals that keep inspiring you to make art, that is important. It's good to learn things you don't like doing because that will still help your art overall. But if you're always doing something you hate, it will discourage you from making art at all. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope this video was helpful. I hope you learned something. If you did, comment it down below. If you have any questions about this video or anything I said or the painting that I was making, feel free to comment those down below and I'll try to reply as soon as I can. If you have anybody who's wanting to start their own art journey, send this video their way and share it with them. And if you liked this video, don't forget to like it and don't forget to subscribe. I want to thank you guys so much for watching. I always appreciate any support you guys give me, and I can't wait to see where this year will take me on my art journey and what art discoveries I'll make. Thank you guys so much, and I hope to see you all in the next video. Bye everybody, Happy New Year, and happy creating.